whispering tree in my backyard, a new beginning, or so I thought. When I first bought the house, I barely noticed the tree. It was old, twisted, gnarled, and impossibly tall. Its branches stretched far, casting unnatural shadows over the yard. The real estate agent mentioned it briefly. "That tree's been here longer than the house itself," she said, almost in passing. I didn't think much of it, but I should have, because some things should never be ignored. The first whisper. It started the first night, a whisper, soft, indistinct. I thought it was the wind, but the trees around it were still. No rustling leaves, no breeze, only the whisper coming from the ancient oak. I ignored it until the whisper started calling my name. The face in the bark. A week passed. I avoided the backyard. Something about the tree felt wrong. But one night, Max started barking at it. Fierce, snarling, like he saw something I couldn't. That's when I noticed it. A shape in the bark. Not a knot, not a trick of the light. A face, sunken eyes, a twisted mouth. It looked like it was screaming. Digging up the past, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I started asking around. Neighbors were hesitant. One old man finally spoke. "That tree, it's cursed." I laughed, but he wasn't joking. People used to hang bodies from it, back in the 1800s. Criminals, witches, and others, people who just disappeared. I felt a chill crawl up my spine. They say the tree absorbed their souls. The night it spoke clearly that night, I couldn't sleep. The whispers had grown louder, urgent. I stepped outside. The tree creaked as if it were breathing. And then, a voice, "Help me." I froze. The whisper wasn't random anymore. It was pleading, begging, the hand in the roots. The next morning, I decided to end this. I grabbed a shovel, started digging at the base of the tree. The deeper I dug, the stronger the whispers became. And then, my shovel hit something. Something not rock, not wood, something soft. I reached down and pulled out a hand. Not a skeleton, a rotting human hand, like it had been buried just yesterday. The faces in the tree I ran, but the whispers followed me. They weren't whispers anymore, they were screams. And when I turned back, the tree had changed. Dozens of faces, trapped, twisting, mouths silently screaming. I grabbed an axe, swung it with all my strength, but the blade snapped in half. The tree laughed. The final warning. That night I packed my bags. I was leaving. But before I could, the whisper returned. Only this time it wasn't pleading. It was warning me. If you go, it will follow. I didn't listen. I left. But now every night outside my new home, I hear it. The whispers, soft, calling my name. Because the tree wasn't just in my backyard anymore. It was inside me. The abandoned playground that comes to life, a playground frozen in time. I don't know why I stopped. It was late, way past midnight, when I drove past the old neighborhood. Something about the abandoned playground pulled me in. Rusting swings, a broken slide, an eerie silence that pressed against my ears. No kids had played here for years, but as I stepped closer, the swings started moving. The laughter in the dark, I turned, expecting to see someone, but the playground was empty. And then, a giggle, soft, light, childlike. It echoed through the still air. I felt a chill crawl up my spine, because that laugh didn't come from any child I could see. The slide that whispers. I took a step forward. The old slide groaned in the wind. It had been rusted for years, but as I watched, something moved inside it, a shadow. It slithered down the slide without a body. I blinked, and the shadow was gone, but the whisper remained. "Come play with us." The seesaw that moves on its own. I turned to leave, but the seesaw creaked, up, down, like someone was sitting on it. But there was no one there. And then footsteps, small, fast, running toward me. I spun around, but saw nothing. Just the playground, empty, still, but not quiet anymore. The child in the sandpit. I was done. I needed to go. But as I took a step, I saw her. A little girl, sitting in the sandpit, pale, wearing an old dress. She was digging, slow, methodical. Then she looked up and smiled. Her teeth were black, her eyes empty, and that's when I saw it. The sand she was digging in wasn't sand at all, it was ash. The rusted sign. I ran, but something caught my eye. An old, rusted sign at the entrance. I wiped away the grime, and my stomach dropped. Closed in 1987 after the children disappeared. I turned back. The playground was gone, just an empty lot. No swings, no slide, no seesaw. but the wind still carried a whisper. Come play with us. The phone that rings with no caller. A ring at midnight. It started with a phone call at midnight. I was already in bed, drifting between sleep and wakefulness when, ring. The sharp sound shattered the silence. I groggily reached for my phone, but the screen was blank. No caller ID, no number. Just ringing. A deep, hollow sound that sent a chill through my bones. I hesitated, then answered. Hello? Silence. Then a whisper. Don't pick up the next call. Then click. The line went dead. Another call, but no number. I stared at my phone, my heart pounding. What the hell was that? A prank? Ring. The phone buzzed again. Same thing. No number, no name. My stomach twisted, but I answered. Who is this? A long breath. Then, I told you not to pick up. My blood ran cold. I hung up. I turned my phone off. I tried to sleep. But then, the call that didn't stop rang. Even with my phone powered down, the ringing continued. Louder, more urgent. I grabbed it. The screen was still off. But the sound, it was coming from inside the phone. I threw it across the room, but the ringing never stopped. The voice on the line, I had no choice. I answered. Stop calling me, I shouted. But this time, the whisper was closer. You let me in. And then footsteps inside my room. The shadow behind me, I spun around. Nothing, but the air felt wrong, thick, heavy. I grabbed my phone, trying to call someone, but the screen flickered, then went black. Then, a reflection. Not mine. Behind me, a shadow, watching, waiting. I turned, but there was no one there, just the sound of my phone, buzzing, and a final whisper. See you soon. Click. The call ended, the phone that won't stop ringing. I smashed my phone, tore out the battery, but every night, at exactly midnight, it still rings. No caller, no number, just a whisper waiting for me to answer. And I know, if I do, I won't be the one hanging up.